Hello, Daniel here for All Media Create. So today we're going to be going against the grain somewhat. I might get a little bit of backlash for doing this, but we're talking about photography and we're talking about speeding it up. So how can you improve your photography skills by going outside and basically taking as many photos as you can? Sometimes this is necessary in certain situations. So say if you're going out and you know it's going to rain and you've got that little bit of time before the rain gets there and you've got that nice sky going on and you need to get as many shots as you can in this time frame before it starts to rain and before the cloud storms appear. What can you do to make use of that time that you have? So another situation might be wedding photography as well. If you need to take as much photos as you can, then you might want to use some of the tips and techniques I'm about to discuss. So it's almost like it's quantity over quality. It's that same issue again. It's about whether you prefer to take as many photos as you can, or whether you prefer to sort of take your time with that one particular one and then take the picture and then just have that one photo, or whether you want to take loads of them and increase the chance of getting that shot within that time frame. So that's the premise for the video. So what can you do to improve the rate of your photos? So first and foremost is burst mode or continuous shoot. That's where you basically set up the camera so you have like 10 photos that go click, 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 like really fast as soon as you press the button, and it's called burst mode, and you can set that up on your camera. Hopefully you've got either a bridge camera or a digital SLR camera. They'll always have the settings on there, and most phones as well have the same setting. So instead of having to press the button several times, you can just press it once and then it will take a series of shots, so then you're likely to get the image that you wanted. Also, with that, you can also change the contrast as well. So you'll have a high contrast one, a normal contrast one, and a low contrast one, which is basically it takes 3 pictures every time you press the button. So then, say if you go out and you don't know what one to set your contrast level at, you can just take a series of 3 set at different contrast points, and it will take a series of 3 set at different contrast points, so then you can pick the best one at a later date. That's tip number 1. The second one is to rely on editing parts. So spending less time in the field and spending more time in the editing room. So then if there is that time in which the storm is coming, then you might want to use the raw format on your phone or on your camera. So basically that will take the picture as is, it won't compress it, and then when you get home you can edit it to your liking. So you can edit it and make it more darker in certain areas, and then you can start using Adobe Photoshop or Adobe Photoshop Lite, whichever one you use, to make the image to the settings that you would have set it as if you'd have had the time in the field. That's tip number 2. Tip number 3 is to rely on auto settings. So all cameras will have an auto setting feature in which it will just basically turn the manual focus, the shutter speed, and also the focal length, and it will automatically do that for you. So rely on that, and then you can always make minor adjustments when you get into the editing room. So you're spending less time faffing around changing the settings on your camera when you're in the field, and then you're more likely to get them pictures as in the frequency that you want. So the fourth tip would be to use a bridge camera. Now a bridge camera is basically, it's almost a mixture of a compact camera and a digital SLR camera. It has a fixed lens on the camera, so it can go from usually like wide shots to telephoto length shots, and it's very useful because if you're faffing around changing lenses in the field, then you're more likely to have the rain come in and actually ruin your camera, and you're spending more time doing things that you shouldn't really be doing, you know, when you've got a time scale to bear in mind. So a bridge camera can be useful for that. So that would be tip number 4. Tip number 5, I believe we're on now, is to use, it's not so much a huge tip actually, but it's to use to use the strap that you otherwise put around your neck, but to wrap it around your wrist. So it basically makes things more mobile. So if you had it around your neck, you would be less mobile because you'd have to keep bringing it up and then dropping it down, and you'd have it on your chest bouncing around when you were running or doing something else. But if you had it in your hand, wrapped around your wrist, it's still safe. So if you dropped it, it's still gonna be on your wrist. It's still not gonna fall on the floor, but it will be there just so you can pick up, take a picture, pick up, take a picture, and you don't have to use both hands. It will be right there in the one hand. So that will be a good tip to use. Plus, it's always going to be in your hand, so you're always ready to take the picture. The 6th one would be to rely on the single autofocus point. So the idea is to focus on something and press the button halfway down, and then to realign and then press the full button. So say if you're taking a picture of a landscape, you would have a point in a landscape that you want as the focus point. So say if it's a tower or like a castle in the background, and you want the foreground to be blurred leading up towards the more vivid image of the castle in the background, you would highlight in the center of the camera the castle, half press it so it focuses on it, and then you readjust, frame your picture, and then you take the picture, and it will keep the focus point of the castle, but you'd also realign it to take your picture. And that's a good quick way of making sure that everything's going to be sharp and in focus, because what you don't want to do is you don't want to take so many pictures and then get home and have everything all blurred. It's going to be pointless. So that will be tip number 6. Use a focus and recompose technique and realign the picture after you've got everything set up. And then the final bit of advice would be to use a circular polarizer. That's basically where you attach it to your lens, whether it's a bridge camera or a digital SLR. Both of them usually come with this feature. It's basically a screw on the inner lip of the camera lens, and you just screw the circular polarizer in there, and you can adjust it so it's on or off and anything in between. And it basically gets rid of glare and also allows you to look through water if you're wanting to take a picture of a water feature or something like that, and you're getting too much glare from the water. You can allow it to take away the glare and then take that picture. So you're less likely to having to faff around taking the picture and then worrying about all the lens flare and everything like that when you're in the field. You can just apply that, put it on, and know that everything's going to be crystal clear and you're not going to have much lens flare. So they're my 7, I believe it's 7 tips in regards to that. And feel free to check out the teamwork guide that I've got on my website, allmediacreate.com, and along with the guide, you also get some suggested materials that you can purchase through the actual guide itself. and obviously any money that we get back from the Amazon links will go straight back into All Media Create. So you'll be contributing to the channel. So I'm Daniel. Please like, share, and subscribe, and give me some feedback on whatever content you would like next, or if there's something I'm doing particularly bad. Let me know. Anyway, until next time, see you later.